He almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up.
Oh, you are way more fun than my last lawyer. I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
You saw nothing, and I apologize for nothing. Okay. First off, I don't think the She-Hulk series actually needs a narrative. Like, I don't think it needs to be structured the way in which the rest of the MCU Disney Plus TV shows have essentially been structured. I would 100% be okay if every episode was just basically Jennifer Walters dealing with different aspects of the MCU from a legal standpoint. Because first off, them pulling in Wong from Comertage, which the situation with the Abomination happens in Shang-Chi, but them pulling in Wong and him like, you know, I'm Wong. Sorcerer Supreme, Master of the Mystic Arts, former librarian of Comertage, etc., etc., etc. And the United States government's just like, yeah, we really don't give a shit. Like, you broke the law, my boy. Like, you're supposed to be in a cell with Blonsky is hilarious to me. Because the second Wong hears that, like, he's in trouble, he's just like, nope. He just pieces out, walks through the portal, and he's fucking gone. But also seeing Blonsky essentially be like, my guys, I just want to get the hell out of this cell, hook up with my 7 brides, which Blonsky is living the romance novel protagonist perfect ending where he has his harem and he's just like, they're gonna pay for everything for me and all I have to do is just chill with them, smoke weed with them, and every once in a while knock boots and I can live happily. Like, he's off in paradise. He may not have won the whole narrative that he was talking about trying to be Captain Bloody America, but I'm just saying Blonsky just got his Steve Rogers ending where he's just off to the races, doesn't have to turn into Abomination no more, has his 7 brides, they're going to be paying for everything, the house is already paid for, my man is good, and that is great. But on the complete opposite spectrum is them pulling in all of these like new elements that basically the world didn't have to deal with before. Like, there are light elves running around who can shapeshift. Beautiful introduction right there. Like, small characters that you wouldn't see on a grand scale, but would get up to some nefarious shit if they were suddenly on Earth. The fact that like the light elves are using like their powers, or specifically this light elf is running around using their shape-shifting powers to basically con and swindle people, that's some nefarious shit that somebody with shape-shifting powers would get down to. And that's great that they basically tackle that in this. This is definitely the most fun like I've had with like the MCU shows. Because every single episode, like, I'm having a blast. I'm like, ooh, look at that, ooh, look at that. Also, the media attention around her is really authentic, even down to like the incel bullshit attack that happens at the end, which like they try to jump her and there's a moment where she's like, oh shit, I'm about to get kidnapped. And she's like, wait a second. Fucking She-Hulk. She just like hulks up and just like swats them around. They're like, oh yeah, we really didn't think this plan through. Let's escape to the incel mobile and escape from here as soon as possible. Excellent. The online commentary, fucking great. Because as the online commentary was scrolling, I was like, yo, we just dealt with this for about 6 months in regards to Thor Love and Thunder, where people who don't read the fucking comic books, who don't know that Jane Foster has her own fucking comic book run where she's the mighty Thor, who all they saw was that a woman had Mjolnir and they're just like, but my male superheroes. And it's like, yeah, but like, you know, Thor goes off and he does other shit. Like, the title, like, Thor is both a name and also a title. Like, if Beta Ray Bill showed up and he had the fucking hammer, he would technically be Thor or a Thor. the mighty Thor run during Secret Wars, man, when they had all those different Thors from across the multiverse. Absolutely fucking beautiful. But people don't see that. All they are superficial fans. Like they watch the movies, but they don't really dig into the nitty gritty. And then when they see something change, they get absolutely frustrated. And when you try and explain it to them, they get even more frustrated. How dare you attempt to explain something to me? All I see is that Thor is no longer a man and it's a woman. And it's like, okay, but what's the issue with that? Like, Thor's right there. It's the same thing in this, where it's like, you know, she's now She-Hulk, her own complete fucking entity, and in the show they poke fun at that, where like a guy's like, how dare she steal the thunder from the Hulk? This is absolutely ridiculous. Women should be able to have their own heroes without riffing on the male heroes. And it's like, yeah, we deal with that annoying shit that, and I told you before, like when I hear people complain about characters like this is how they sound to me. They sound like Mandark from Dexter's Lab, and then other times they sound like Nikki from Little Nicky. Like they usually alternate between both of those two voices when I hear them complain this way, and I'm just like, you're not even a fan. What are you complaining about? But it's the internet age. The internet age is where you can one-off and like shit out an idea online, on Twitter, on a fucking forum, and then there's no real accountability or somebody who's actually going to check you, because there's probably like 300 assholes who have the exact same fucking idea, and you all coalesce into one giant asshole and refuse to see the forest for the trees. But that's neither here nor there. I love this. I am having a blast with She-Hulk. The fourth wall breaking, absolutely great. They're probably going to set something up in the last couple episodes. I'm loving the way in which you're introducing all the elements of the MCU. Apparently, I was talking to a friend at work, and I had my location wrong. I thought that Jen was operating in New York, but she's actually operating on the West Coast. And the reason why I thought about that is because of Blonsky, because Blonsky is supposed to be in the raft. So every time we saw Blonsky, I thought Blonsky was in the raft, until like this episode when she walks up to the door, and I'm like, wait a minute, this facility is like on land. And my friend was like, yeah, it's a Supermax facility for villains on the West Coast, because she's operating in like is it LA or is it San Francisco? She's operating somewhere in California, like a major city. And I was like, holy fucking shit. When the hell was the MCU going to tell us that they had like a whole superhero Supermax on the West Coast? Because for the most part, the movies have really only been using the raft as the main area that all of the major villains have essentially been held. And Thunderbolt Ross runs the raft, and it's like, this is technically his responsibility. So when the hell did Ross go, yeah, Abomination is no longer going to be in the raft, we're going to ship him off to like a San Francisco Supermax prison that can hold villains? But I love it. Like, I am digging everything about She-Hulk at the moment. I'm loving all the cameos. I'm loving how they bring in all these different characters and how everything is essentially going so far. I think it's a blast. It's definitely way higher on my list of shows than I thought it was going to be. Like, I feel as though She-Hulk probably cracked my top 10 so far, and it's probably low-key sitting in like my top 3 for the Disney Plus series shows. But we'll see. Episode 3 was great. Can't wait until next week, and I will catch you next one. Let me know what your favorite part of this episode was. Peace.